Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Electronic Media Division of the College Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati. Tonight, we want to share with you some of the testimonials and products from electronic media majors and faculty, which are the result of the programmatic changes that we set in motion back in 1990, when we renamed the then Broadcasting Division to Electronic Media Division. We still introduce our electronic media majors to the traditional foundation of television and audio production, to research, theory, and criticism, to broadcast journalism, programming, and advertising. But we also have moved aggressively into the domain of digital audio and video production, which incorporates interactive CD-ROM and website development.
Upon my arrival in 1992, we were a broadcast division mainly, had not embraced any of the digital technologies, and we were lacking those sorts of skills, so it was incumbent upon me to bring digital to electronic media, and we've done that in several ways. First of all, we do broadcast recordings via 2-track DAT. That has blossomed into some 70, 80 recordings a year that our students are involved in, and I get a chance to show them recordist techniques that supports the university or the conservatory at large. Secondly, we have 2 digital audio workstations, one a 2-track, another a multi-track workstation, which are industry standards. With Pro Tools system, we have a digital audio class that enables us to do nonlinear applications. One of the projects we do is theater of the mind, where audio, sound effects, as opposed to voiceover, tell a story. We can go up to 32 tracks of digital and create our own sound effects through sampling and manipulation of data down to the sample level.
The projects you do in a digital class, they're more free form. I suppose the student has to come up with the project concepts by themselves, and it's theater of the mind projects. Small scripts that you develop into some sort of a sonic story that can be told via digital editing. The concept for my project kind of stemmed to some very dramatic results. It's not exactly an upbeat or a happy project at all, but I think it is very powerful. It basically gives a description of a child born during the Vietnam War, with parents who supposedly had been greatly affected by things such as the Vietnam War, things such as both parents being outside the home working. Basically, this young man goes through a life of hell.
You're not graduating this year because you are failing 2 subjects. Not graduating.
That's it. You're fired. You understand me? Fired. Don't come back here. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Digital is the present right now, and I mean, it's definitely going to be the future, so it's very strong. I'm glad we have the program here to introduce us to the digital world.
With the advent of the new building, we hope to set up a microcosm of production applications where digital audio will piggyback on digital video and vice versa. We'll have closed cable applications, we'll have radio applications. Digital is portable, it's universal, it's ultimate manipulation of data. Really, the sky's the limit when it comes to digital. I think it will be the standard for many years to come.
Well, when I first arrived, the primary focus in the video component of the Electronic Media Division was and still is analog video. However, we have been moving into the area of digital video. In fact, one of the reasons I was hired was because of my background in nonlinear editing, specifically on the Avid. Since that time, rather than deleting the analog classes from our curriculum. I use those classes to provide the students with a foundation so that when they get into the digital video class, we can look at the potential of the digital technology that they have available for them here. Due to limited time, first of all, and limited storage space, we've got to keep the projects short in length, and I found the public service announcement to be an ideal project for this class. It takes up very little drive space, and it's something that the students can conceptualize, they can write, they can shoot, they can direct, they can edit here on the Avid system, and it's their project. And what we've done is we've tried to push them toward nonprofit organizations that might need a public service announcement done for their organization. They might not be able to afford to have a professional video production company do that. And we've had some very good projects turned in this class.
Hey man, you need a hand?
I've wanted to do a piece commemorating Memorial Day, Veterans Day for a long time, and I threw together a lot of different ideas. I was kind of at a loss for a while, and then it was suggested to me to contact the public relations branch of the service, and I did that. They were extremely helpful. I was very surprised at the willingness and the response, and they pretty much just asked when and where I needed them, and they came down to school, and they stood there and did the job for me. The Avid was used certainly as the fundamental tool for all of the editing. Avid is very user-friendly when it comes to other applications and importing and exporting. The CGs were actually created on the Media Composer, exported into Photoshop, they were touched up and resized, then shipped into After Effects. After Effects was the primary tool for the whole piece. All of the compositing was done in After Effects. There's a lot going on in several of the segments that are multiple layers, which quite frankly, the After Effects program is much easier to work with than the Avid.
They have stood vigilant, and they have watched over us and the freedoms we cherish. America thanks them all.
I see the digital video component continuing to grow. Certainly when we get into our new facilities in 1999, I really see digital video taking off. We're going to be dealing more with digital video acquisition, where we're shooting on digital videotape. And we're taking that into the nonlinear editing suites. We're editing in digital, and then we're looking at networking our facilities. So what I'm doing in digital video can be transferred over to Professor Haynes' digital audio component for audio sweetening, and that I am networked with what Professor Streeter is doing as well. So I'm looking forward to being at the new facilities and seeing this division really become one of the top divisions in digital video. I look forward to that. I'm very excited about it.
There was a 7-workstation lab already in place when I got here. That was in the fall of 1997. The workstations had a pretty good array of software on it. We had Photoshop, we had Director, we had After Effects on a couple of them. We had the basic building blocks necessary to teach some good courses in it. What we didn't have was really a process to move through and teach multimedia as multimedia. What we did first is created the Multimedia 1 class, which is basically a tools class. How do you manipulate digital information? What is a network? How does the network work? What's a server? What's a client? What is this stuff? How does it work? What is the World Wide Web? Why is the World Wide Web new? Why is it not really all that new? Why is it not as big a deal as people think it is? What are the different ways that you can interact with people over the net? These sorts of things we dealt with in the first class. The final project that the Multimedia 1 students worked on, the capstone of the course, was to put together websites for nonprofits in town. That was the requirement, that it had to be a nonprofit. Many of the students chose to do something either here in CCM or an on-campus organization. Part of the process, it wasn't just coding things. It wasn't just manipulating the information, it was also having to deal with a client, finding out clients that, you know, they had to go out and do something other than what they wanted to do. They actually had to create things for other people out in the world. It was the best we could come up with to show them what it's like to really get out there and have to deal with a client.
The very first project that I had to have completed was creating a web page for a nonprofit organization. And what started out as a simple web page turned into a huge project that I'm still doing now, half a year later. And at this point, it's becoming a very important part of the organization. Again, it's a cancer care agency that specializes in psychological support for families of cancer patients. We start to get email from all over the country, whereas the agency used to specialize locally. At this point, we're an information source for the entire country.
If the idea of multimedia is taking existing information and combining it in a unique way, I thought one good way of showing that, most of the students who take the second multimedia class were upper level students who've been in other classes. They've shot video, they've edited sound, and they've written things. And so I thought, well, what we need to do is we're going to take that information and they're going to create a portfolio, an interactive portfolio that could actually be an addendum to their resume.
Well, one of the things that I've learned is that we're going from an analog world, especially in the television industry and the movie industry in general. We're going from an analog world to a digital world. This is the best time ever if you want to get into the business at a ground level and really take off. The best way to do that, and from my standpoint, learn digital, learn those applications. One of the things that I really liked about the multimedia classes, it gave me that chance. I go in now with this interactive resume, and employers are like, well, I didn't even expect that, you know? It's nice. It's a nice thing to have.
We have made a timely, and I hope you agree, a most far-sighted decision when we acknowledged the conversion of technologies in our curriculum and in our name. And now, almost a decade later, when we are about to move into our new home, there is a total integration of these converging digital media. The Electronic Media Division's educational mission is reflecting this dynamic that is reshaping media industries worldwide. We are responding to this historic challenge in preparing a student generation that will assume professional leadership from the day they leave our program. We are building upon what we started here, and I need to confess to you, it is very exciting.